Hi everyone, it's Dr. Jhawar with Revive MD. I want to talk about hormones, and I'm going to make a series of videos because there's so many hormones to discuss. And the reason I thought of this is because I see many patients for weight management and diabetes and other metabolic disorders. And one of the things we really focus a lot on is different hormones that help control weight. So I thought that I would make some videos about the more common hormones and why they're important and how they work in our bodies. So the first one I want to talk about is a common one, which is insulin. So insulin is a storage hormone of our bodies that's produced in the pancreas and secreted from there. So when you have a meal and you eat some food, that food breaks down in your stomach, and then insulin gets secreted by your pancreas to help bring the food that's broken down into glucose into your cells, and then later it can be used for energy or whatever it needs to be used for. So it gets stored usually in your liver, your muscle, and fat. So that's why insulin is very important. What does it mean when somebody gets insulin resistant, right? Or starts building up insulin resistance? That means that when you eat that same meal, the glucose that gets, the food gets broken down into remains in the bloodstream longer because your pancreas secretes the insulin, but now it needs to secrete even more insulin for that same amount of glucose to bring it into the cells. And so over time, your insulin levels start to go up because your pancreas needs to secrete even more insulin to then push that glucose into cells. Otherwise, that glucose then remains in the bloodstream longer and causes more of sugar spikes and hyperglycemia, and then increases your risk for diabetes. So how do we sort of prevent this from happening? Well, you want to actually, do the opposite, which is increase your insulin sensitivity. That's actually going to help push that glucose into the cells more easily, and then thereby preventing sugar spikes and hyperglycemia as well. So how do we do that, right? There's many different ways to increase our insulin sensitivity. The most common ways are really through nutrition, right? So making sure that you're eating foods that are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, whole grains like fiber-rich and low glycemic index foods, and of course protein-rich foods, right? So these are going to be foods like vegetables, whole grains, fruits that are fiber-rich, as well as fish, nuts, seeds, extra virgin olive oil, legumes. These are all ways to help increase that insulin sensitivity and decrease insulin resistance. Exercise is another way that helps promote more insulin sensitivity and reduce your insulin resistance. Getting adequate sleep helps prevent spikes in your insulin and helps prevent that morning insulin from being higher and higher. So again, increasing your insulin sensitivity and reducing your insulin resistance. This is how you can also help manage your weight. So I hope this gives you a little bit more information on insulin resistance and insulin sensitivity, and also ways that this can help with weight management. I'll be back with more videos on different hormones and other hormones that are important for weight control. Stay tuned.